Hello, welcome to this your channel at the Eurofan. That's me. It seemed Albania was recovering its path at the contest little by little, but have experienced another flood during the last edition after the incomprehensible proposal presented by Besa Kokadima, which did not convince to the audience, having placed second to last in her semi-final. Even so, the Balkan country does not miss its Eurovision appointment, maintaining its participation, aiming to keep showing the best of the Albanian musical talent to the rest of Europe. For this, we will know a little more of the next artist, which has took the baton from her by representing Albania on the main stage of Basel. Let's go! For today's episode, I'm going to review the Albanian entry for Eurovision 2025, which has been represented by the duo Shkodra Elektronike with the song Zjerm, which in English translates as fire. This time they had set out to light up the stage with a proposal which combines folklore and tradition with electronic music. Without further delay, let's move on with the review. As usual, let's start taking a look at their biography and career before leaving their Eurovision experience in the Helvetic country. Shkodra Elektronike is an Albanian folktronica duo formed by the singer and songwriter Beatrice Gjergji and the producer and instrumentalist Kole Laka, both coming from the city of Shkodra, located in northern Albania. From here, it's easy to deduce that the name of the duo comes precisely from their hometown, although it comes to curiosity that while they were born there, they lived their childhood and adolescence in Italy until they would eventually return to Shkodra, where they ultimately get to know each other. They started a musical project in 2019 with the main idea on reinterpreting the traditional music of the region in key of electronic music. From here, the fact that they have been usually identified into the folktronica genre, although they often call their music as post-immigrant pop. They structure their music with catchy melodies as well as diversity of rhythms and lyrics that address topics such as love and daily life. Since then, they start to perform a diversity of events in Italy, Albania, and Kosovo, and they will start to release their first singles during the following year. The duo will have its first participation at the 60th edition of the renowned Albanian musical festival Festivali Këngës in late 2021, although the songwriters in this case, being the authors of the song Enjemja Nuse, performed by the singer Sartes Maya, having been tying in the third place together with the singer Eldisa Yeti. They will release their first EP in the following year in 2022 to an independent record label, with tracks recorded live in an old studio located at the suburbs of Albanian capital Tirana, in which they showcase most of the traditional Albanian melodies reinterpreted in a contemporary way. After the release of this musical production, they will start to get invited to participate in many folk musical festivals in Central Europe, visiting in the process countries like Germany, Austria, and Hungary. And later, after the release of another single featuring a well-known Albanian band during last year, they will decide to try their luck at Festivali Këngës, but this time stepping at the front of the stage with an entry composed and performed by them, without imagining that they will have the opportunity to represent their country at Eurovision. Let's see then how was their time at the Albanian Musical Festival. Keeping the habit, the Albanian Public Broadcaster would organize what it went to be the 63rd edition of the renowned Festivali Këngës, which serves as national final to select both the artists and the song that will represent Albania and Switzerland. This time, the submission period for the Albanian artists and songwriters who wanted to send their proposals was set in a pure Finnish style, being open for only 3 days in late September of last year. After the deadline, it was known that a total of 85 proposals were received, according to the broadcaster, then revealing the 30 selected contestants to compete at the Albanian Musical Festival in early October of last year, and being Shkodra Elektronike among the selected artists. Regarding the format, it will have many important changes in comparison with the last edition. The most outstanding one was the appointment of an artistic director for the very first time in the history of the musical festival, where the broadcaster will nominate this time to the renowned Albanian singer Elaida Dani, who was the winner of the musical festival in 2014, as well as the Albanian representative at Eurovision the following year in the edition that was held in Vienna, Austria. She will have the task of renovating the overall image of the musical festival in this case, getting assessment mainly with the production team of the renowned festival di Sanremo in Italy, with the goal to revitalize it in comparison to other musical shows that have gained much more popularity in the country during the last 2 decades, like Top Fest or Kenga Magique, and about everything to look into dismiss the controversies often aroused by both the chosen winner or the selection criteria of the participating songs. From this point, the rest of the changes will be implemented in the dynamic of the musical festival. The 30 contestants will be split in 2 semi-finals, where the jury will select the 15 artists that will advance to the final show. The Nostalgia Show, unlike past editions, will pair up the different contestants to perform different winning songs from previous editions of the musical festival, announcing at the end of that show the 15 artists that will compete in the final show. And in this final show, by the way, the voting system and the winner selection method will completely change. A single winner of the musical festival will be chosen once again, that will also be proclaimed as the Albanian representative at Eurovision, being determined for the very first time with the combination of the votes from the jury, the Albanian and Kosovar public through text messages, of the Albanian diaspora from abroad through an online voting, having awaited the scores of approximately 73, 13 and 40% respectively. The Critics Award to the best contestant will remain for the final show, and it will be introduced the award for the best composition, discarding then the award to the best emerging artist introduced in the last edition. Shkodra Elektronike will make their first appearance in the first semi-final, getting the qualification to the final show thanks to the votes from the jury. Thereafter, during the final show aired in late December of last year, the voting results revealed that the duo was the absolute favorite for both the jury and the televote, while they were the second most voted artist for the diaspora, then scoring the points needed to get the victory in the musical festival, giving the surprise against the big favorite, the singer Albania, and subsequently gaining the ticket to represent Albania on the main stage of Basel. After being declared the winners of the musical festival, the song will go on to the usual revamp process that is usually done by Albania ahead of the contest, although this time opting for minor modifications and with a more compelling reason, as they needed to adjust the song length to the 3 mandatory minutes to be able to compete at Eurovision, and the duo will opt to keep the song in their native language, thus dismissing the rumors of a possible translation of the track. This slightly reduced version of the track will be released in last mid-March with its accompanying official music video. Transforming the people with tradition and modernity. Now I'm going to analyze in further detail about this proposal presented by this duo, with which they have represented the Balkan country at the contest. Being loyal to their unique and characteristic style, the melody is a track which blends Albanian traditional music and electronic music, having a most lighter instrumental part during the second verse of the song. It is to stand out that it is probably the first time in many years that an Albanian entry has kept its essence but in this musical production and language. And this is quite remarkable, taking into account that traditionally Albanians tend to overcharge the song in their entries, which have not turned out well at occasions, so it has represented a step in the right direction. There are times in which less is more. On the other hand, the vocal skills from Beatrice are remarkable, having a more moderate singing style during the first verse and a more intense one during the chorus, while Kolle himself takes part by doing the declaring part of the track by the second verse. The lyrics have been written by the duo themselves together with another Albanian songwriter fully in Gek Albanian, which is one of the 2 dialects of the Albanian language spoken mostly in northern Albania, as well as most of Kosovo and specific regions in Serbia, Montenegro and North Macedonia. It will be in this case the first time that Albania sings an entry into the contest in the Gek dialect, as the Toks dialect is mostly used normally, giving foundation to the Albanian language officially. Talking about the context behind it, the central motif of the song is evidently the fire, which symbolizes power, purification and spiritual renovation, in this case by giving it both a human and mystical perspective. Read the lyrics more in detail, previously translated of course. The track talks about deep topics such as life, hope and self-identity. It starts with a depiction of a paranoia moment, which later becomes an optimistic one, symbolizing symbolizing the ability to see the goodness and the beauty of things even in difficult circumstances. Through imagining a world without soldiers, orphan children, or contamination, they make a wake-up call to be in peace and harmony with nature, thus addressing hope, while the abstract references to their hometown expresses the need to be loyal to the self-identity and the place from where we come. Finally, the call they make to create a pure heart to send light into the darkness, this idea that a desired renovation, both spiritual and moral, which is reinforced with the phrase "Amam miserere." This calls to attention especially as the phrase, which combines an expression probably of Arabic or Hebrew origin, that it is used in day-to-day Albanian to express beg or plea, with the Latin expression for mercy, could be interpreted as a plea or mercy or a strong man. And what is curious in this case is that both interpretations fit well with that spiritual renovation process described into the track by giving it a deep and transcendent meaning. About the message, the track conveys a local and global vision at the same time, combining elements from national pride with a universal message of peace and brotherhood among people, no matter the social and cultural differences, making a call to make this world a better place, appealing to the intrinsic nature of fire as a transforming element in people's lives. Having seen more about this burning proposal, let's see now how they intended to transmit the contest described only through the official music video. The plot begins with Beatrice performing the song alone initially, seeing her with different outfits and different backgrounds, until shortly before the first chorus some flames are starting to be seen from behind, walking herself apart from the camera shortly after to then notice that the background, that is made of a wallpaper, is burning in the middle by breaking this in two and see the other one behind. With the first chorus, the scene changes, now with Beatrice wearing what it seems like a traditional outfit of the region, being in what it looks like a studio with a background in orange stones, while she keeps up with the performance while dancing as well, all that alternating with shots of the wallpapers from before burning. Just before the second verse, Cole appears sitting on a chair while he reads a burning newspaper on the upper side, which gives a strong impression while seeing it, and shortly after, Beatrice joins him standing next to him while Cole does his stately claiming in this part of the track. These shots alternate with other ones of them next to the burning wallpapers, where it comes to attention a particular shot with a part of the burning newspaper where you can read for a few instants the phrase in Albanian "Pavarasia ne shokeri," which in English translates as inequality in society. This is very striking because it precisely emphasizes the message they want to transmit with the track, appealing to erase those inequalities among the people to move forward to a more peaceful world, although in practice is a premise that could be quite difficult to achieve in most of the cases, although not impossible. For the second chorus, it goes back to the same dynamic previously seen before, with Beatrice dancing and singing while the wallpapers are still burning. Only towards the end of the music video, there is a shot of Beatrice holding a flame in her right hand, probably symbolizing with it that transforming element of that fire on her, thus closing the performance. Prior to the release of the official music video, they already had the opportunity to perform their proposal during their participation in the Albanian Musical Festival. Let's check out then how was their live performance during their time at Festival Këngës. Recalling the staging at the musical festival, the performance is focusing the duo at the center of the stage, opting for costumes allegory to the colors of the Albanian flag, with Beatrice wearing a red dress with traditional motifs and Cole wearing a classic black outfit with his sampler. Initially, she sings the first verse while there is imagery of gradient backgrounds with the shades of fire in the visual graphics and the lighting is predominantly yellow, until in the chorus, Cole, who was quite motionless at first, starts to repeat songs from the sampler every 4 beats, which match with orange and red sparkles seen in the visual graphics as well. Shortly after, Beatrice is seen doing the dance routine that we will be seeing later in the music video, until she is swapping roles with Cole by the second verse, by her standing at the sampler and he doing the declaim part. Towards the second chorus, they swap roles once again, while she gets to the front of the stage, keeping the same dynamic already seen before, although in this time there are more sang parts towards the end of the chorus in comparison to the studio version of the track, including a vocal extravaganza moment from Beatrice, which adds more drama to the performance. At the end of the song, 5 columns are also added, which obviously could not be missed considering the song's title, finishing the performance with both of them raising their right arms high. I have seen this performance quite right, in addition to having the most authentic and distinguishing ones of the edition, being a one-of-a-kind proposal. She demonstrates a wild vocal performance live. I have seen her very self-confident and natural, although I considered that she could improve it a little more ahead of the contest. On the other hand, the key part of the performance lies in the attitudes of both of them, that I could describe as a restrained intensity, giving that mystical and mysterious character they intend to transmit with the track, that evidently has convinced thanks to the high scores they had received from both the jury and the public. Long after their time at the Albanian Musical Festival, they also had the opportunity to present their proposal in the different Eurovision parties of the season, that although they had a quite simplified staging, the intensity at the performing strength of the two of them was not missed, where Beatrice's dance routine, named her by herself as Zjerm, would become viral in the coming months that made delight of those who had the opportunity to see them live. For the staging in Basel, it could be seen that it had an interesting evolution compared to what was seen in the Albanian Musical Festival, where they are now seeing among a series of white pieces with black borders, like the word Tetris pieces, which is not understood what they mean initially, but if it is seen from a certain perspective, it intends to recreate a single cover that has a similar design. Beatrice and Cole are representing a guitar duality in red and black, wearing more sophisticated outfits compared to what they wore in the musical festival. The lighting is predominantly white and the visual graphics are presenting both a division of various shapes and textures, rounded in one side and square in the other side, and mosaics of traditional motifs found in the leg string at the bottom of the stage and the left frame at the front of the stage. Watching the live performance in the first semi-final, it begins with Beatrice almost at the front of the stage with the lighting in red and the visual graphics in the leg screens in the stage floors showing black and red motifs, then starting to perform the first verse while she walks to the bottom of the stage. Shortly after, there are alternate shots of her with the white figures at the bottom of the stage, seeing Cole behind the cross-shaped central figure, as well as close-ups of her. By the first chorus, there are very dynamic animations with various polygonal shapes that gives a quite interesting visual impact according to with the intensity of the track, while Cole does his thing by playing sounds of the sampler that won't be on the cross-shaped white figure, and, as expected, it could not be missed neither the Zjerm from Beatrice nor the 5 colors that start to appear with medium intensity. With the second verse, Beatrice is now in front of the sampler on the left side and Cole places at the right side with the microphone performing his declaimed part, but the interesting thing is that the stage is visually divided in two. Beatrice's side features mosaics of red and black circles and Cole's side features mosaics on black and white polygons that are split in the middle by a thick crooked red line. Many shots of both Beatrice and Cole separately and general shots at the bottom of the stage are appreciated, where it could be seen how it's kept that particular contrast between their attitudes, with Beatrice being more relaxed and Cole being more serious instead, that we already saw before from the musical festival, but now much more reinforced. For the second chorus, the fictional division between them disappear from the visual graphics, and now those mosaics alternate. While they keep the same dynamic already seen with the first chorus, only Beatrice walks back into the front of the stage, having her vocal extravaganza moment in her way, triggering in that moment a burst of fire columns all over the stage, until the performance finishes with multiple red spotlights on Cole at the bottom of the stage. I must admit that it was scary initially, because usually happens that Albanians tend to overload the proposals when they present it on the contest stage, which have ended up in disaster most of the times, but after having seen this performance, I can only describe it with 3 adjectives: mystical, hypnotic, and iconic. In my opinion, it has not only greatly improved from what they presented at the Albanian Musical Festival, but are also certified as the best stage that has been presented in the edition. It is a great pleasure to see a quite magnificent and well-done entry with a so meticulously well-defined concept, and most importantly, with them showing themselves in an authentic and genuine way without pretensions. Having said all this, it was unthinkable that they would not get as well for the grand final, as it will eventually happen. Thereafter, in the grand final, being in charge of closing the show, I think that I would not have chosen a better closing act. The voter results placed them initially in the 16th place after the scores from the jury, waiting to see how many points they would receive from the public, until the moment when the score for the televote was revealed, with them giving a good outburst of points that would rocket them higher in the ranking, then settling finally into 8th place. Making a summary of everything commented so far, the Albanian entry for this year is not only quite interesting, but it is also very unique. I like the fact that they appeal to blend traditional and modern musical genres, which usually work out pretty well in the contest, as we know, being the entries from countries like Greece, Portugal, Armenia, Moldova or Ukraine among the most successful cases in the past. I also like the fact that for the very first time in the history of the Albanian Musical Festival, both the jury and the public agree with the winning entry, and I knew beforehand that it will have very high chances to stand out and generate a huge impact on the audience, thanks precisely to that unique and particular character of the proposal. It is a song that I particularly love, so there were not any doubts on to being added straight to my playlist to listen to it quite often. The final result has not only represented the return of Albania as a finalist in style, but also has to boast the highest score ever achieved for an Albanian entry, which has a lot of merit. Although I would have liked that it has equaled or surpassed the place achieved by Ronan Ishlu in 2012, which is still today the best result of Albania at the contest, despite she has received less points in comparison. But if there is something undeniable, is that they deserve to be higher in the ranking. Talking about the duo has moved forward with their musical career, and in fact shortly after participating in Eurovision, they will release their second EP, in which the song with which they have competed at the contest is of course included, keeping the same trend of their musical style. During last summer, they have been doing performances at concerts and musical festivals in their native Albania, as well as in Italy, Kosovo and Greece, and a few days ago they have announced that they are already working into tracks that will take part of their debut studio album, predictably to be released in early next year, so we will keep having much more news from them very soon. This has been the Albanian proposal for this year at the contest. Now tell me, what do you think about this entry? Have you been hypnotized with a particular musical style, or does not get much of your attention instead? Whatever is your opinion, let me know in the comments down below, thus we can follow up the discussion. And this is it for today's episode. Before I finish, I invite you to give a like to this video if it has been of your taste, so you can bring me your support and be able to reach to more people. Subscribe to my channel if you have not done it yet, and enable notifications by the bell, and follow me through my social media as well. Take care and see you in the next episode. Bye bye.